And our politics lead, U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle resigned today, which should come as no surprise after her devastating refusal yesterday to answer a congressional committee's many questions about her agency's failures that led up to the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump 2 Saturdays ago. Today, a different committee, the Homeland Security Committee, heard from witnesses who were willing to answer questions and provide new information. And the committee chairman, Republican Congressman Mark Green of Tennessee, is with us now. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us, Mr. Chairman, I should say. First of all, what is your reaction to the resignation of Secret Service Director Cheatle?
Yeah, I think it probably came a little too late, but I wish her the best in her future endeavors.
In preparation for today's hearing, you and other members of your committee visited the site of Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, which is more than Secret Service Director Cheatle did. What made the most vivid impression from actually being there on the ground?
Yeah, I think when you stand in the spot where the president was and then take a look to your right and see that building that was uncovered, basically they didn't have anybody on top of it. And if you look at the footprint of that building, it's really several different buildings that were joined together with these hallways that are covered hallways. So it's all of these little nooks and crannies where the fact that nobody was covering that with eyes on 24/7 basically during the event, it's shocking. It's really a revelation. And the water tower that's there and commands an incredible view would have been a perfect spot for a counter sniper. And yet no one was there. I think those things were the glaring things, but there were many others.
At today's hearing, the commissioner of Pennsylvania State Police revealed that 2 local officers from the Butler County Emergency Services Unit, or ESU, left their positions, which had a view of the roof where the would-be assassin fired his shots. They left in order to search for a suspicious person who turned out to be that gunman. Let's roll that from the hearing.
To your knowledge, those ESU officers left the location where they could look out the window to go in search of this person?
That is my understanding.
Sometime before the time between the time he was spotted on the ground and identified as someone suspicious until the shooting, they had left that post to go look for him. Is that what you're saying?
My understanding is yes, along with other municipal officers that responded to that area.
So that was news to us. Had you heard that before?
No, I mean, I had not. And the other thing that they said was that the actual prompting of that was Cooks, the shooter, actually using the rangefinder. I mean, he was actually taking range distance measurements. And of course, it had already been reported, I think it was 62 minutes before the shooting, as being suspicious. They then see him using the rangefinder. They leave their position. Now, the question is, did they alert anyone they were leaving? Who told them to leave? They go to look. Of course, Cooks gets up on top of the building and begins firing. But, yeah, I mean, there's some big problems there. But they actually, what prompted them to leave was radioed through the Pennsylvania State Police to the Secret Service about 10 to 12 minutes before President Trump went on stage. So we're looking for a guy using a rangefinder. They get told by Pennsylvania State Police, and yet they still let the president get up on the podium. I mean, that's insanity.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Do you think that other people, other than the Secret Service director, should lose their jobs over these failures?
I think what I'm most looking at right now is the person who is running that operations center during the event. Okay, so he failed to make a decision there to stop the president. I'm also looking at the pre-planning and the way that building was covered. There was another agent who went out and did the assessment and decided the assets that were necessary. Interestingly enough, they didn't have a drone. There were other assets missing. We're still trying to dig in to see if a K-9 unit was used. So far, we're hearing there wasn't one. So the people on the assessment team, we need to look at that leadership, and we need to look at the folks running the cell.
Also at today's hearing, we learned that the gunman apparently fired 8 shots, 8 shell casings were recovered. What else did you learn today?
Well, there's a big issue with command and control in these situations where you have multiple different agencies responsible. And this one had local sheriff's deputies. It had another county's ESU unit, which was sort of a SWAT team, basically taking people from various agencies to make a SWAT team. It had the state police, and then, of course, it had Secret Service. And then you've got EMS and others that are integrated. We have to find out why the communications failed in those multi-layered. You know, I spent time in special operations. Everybody can talk to everybody. And why that isn't the case on this day, guarding the President of the United States, doesn't make any sense. We've got to get to the bottom of that.